All right, so good day, everyone. Let me share to you my assignment in the issues in Filipino language, particularly uh, on the uh, on the extinction of our Filipino languages. So we all know that the world has 6,000 languages. More than half of them are endangered and could be extinct by the end of the century. Now, the Philippines is no exemption, with many of its native languages in decline. The Philippines, we all know, is one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the Philippines, or in the world, I should say, with approximately 175 native languages, and wrongly called dialects actually, and it has about 3% of the world's languages. Yet, only 0.02% of Earth's land area. In other words, that the Philippines is about 15 times more diverse than the average. Now, according to Ethnologue, a compendium of world languages states that um, 28 Philippine languages are in trouble, up from 13 way back 2016, and 11 languages are already dying, and several are already extinct. Now, the Living Tongues Institute for Endangered Languages has identified actually the Philippines as being one of the top 10 language hotspots of the world, which means that the Philippines has a wealth of languages, but they are being lost, actually lost, at a rate faster than we can adequately document them. So this is very worrying, ladies and gentlemen. This is very worrying because um, language diversity is a fundamental part of Filipino heritage, including humanity as a whole. So language diversity benefits both individuals and even our society. Okay, so according again to ethnologues, ethnologues estimates are very conservative. So in reality, more of our languages are in trouble. Let's just say, for example, all 32 Negrito languages are endangered. And that is according to Headland 2003. And the Commission sa Wikang Filipino has identified approximately 50 endangered languages, including our Tagalog. So this is very worrying, ladies and gentlemen. Now, how do you know if a language is endangered or not? That's the question. So according to UNESCO, UNESCO notes that any language where there is a break in intergenerational transfer is endangered. That means if parents are not um, if parents are not passing their mother tongue, for example, Ilocano, or for example, Kankanaay, or for example, from the languages in Visayas, for example, to their child. So if they're not passing their mother tongue, for example, in Ilocano to their child, then the language is obviously endangered. Now, other signs of endangerment are when people develop also this negative attitude towards their language. Use their language in fewer and fewer aspects of their lives, or the proportion of speakers declines. Now, considering these signs, there are actually many more vulnerable Philippine languages that the officially published, or than the officially published numbers from our previous statistical data, for example. Now, when we take a look at the evidences from news reports, for example, from online forums, from language studies, and personal observations, it is very clear that even large Philippine languages like Tagalog, Kapampangan, Pangasinan, or Bicol, or even Ilocano, or even Kankanaay in the Cordillera region, are actually dying, and some faster than others. The same is happening with the medium-sized languages like Ibanog and in the southern part of the Philippines, even Itawis, and even Sambal, and other languages in the Philippines. So these languages are actually decreasing in terms of number of speakers and in terms of the frequency and contexts in which they are used. So from that of the from that observation, while supporters of Tagalog and English battle each other for a relative influence, let us not exclude the other 174 Filipino languages from the conversation. For many of our endangered languages, it's not just about influence, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just about influence, but this is about survival. Their decline is a threat already to our cultural democracy. So we must, again, we must reevaluate our policies and come up with sustainable solutions. We owe this commitment to speech communities, especially to every Filipino. And there is this saying that to apologize after it's too late will not bring back our languages. So this is the issue, or this was the issue I've read about Filipino language, and that is all. Thank you so much for listening.